Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So I hear Arron Gordon is on the trade block, and I haven't mentioned a whole lot about Arron Gordon at all. Um, so I just kind of want to just touch in on what I think of Arron Gordon as a player and where I think he would be a solid fit. First of all, Arron Gordon is a player who's always been with the Orlando Magic. So to be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of him. Um, you know, over the course of the years, I just haven't seen too many Magic games. But I've watched games where he's gone off and he's a scorer. He's a real scorer. Obviously, everyone knows he can jump out the gym. He's a high fly act. So if you have a fantastic passer, someone who's known for lobs and stuff like that, he's gonna be one of your favorite targets. Um, he loves to play above the rim. He does have a mid-range game. He has improved his three-point shot over the years. He can stretch the floor. Defensively, he can block some shots. He gets off the floor, gets rebounds, things like that. So he's not a complete defensive liability out there, even though he's not known for being a great defensive player. I think he can be a part of a good team defensive situation. Um, and he's played a part of some really good Orlando defensive teams, believe it or not. They're what they do over there in Orlando is kind of focusing on the defense, and he's been one of the better players. So I think he's going to be really solid. Like I said, he's a scorer. He can get you points. On a good night for him, he can drop 40, get you and get a couple assists, get you some rebounds and all that. So, this is an all-star caliber player, and if the right team gets him for the right price, he's a difference maker for sure. Now, one of the teams I hear is looking to possibly get a deal going from Arron Gordon is the Portland Trailblazers. Good as fit as any, honestly. I don't see anything wrong with that fit. He would slip right in as their power forward, and give them more scoring, more of a threat down there. A third option that is extremely lethal. He strengthens their bench, even though he doesn't come off the bench. Players that probably should be coming off the bench will slip down to a bench role, making their bench just overall stronger. And I think that overall, he would really help the Portland Trailblazers. I don't know that he makes them any more or any less of a contender, unfortunately, though. In theory, you would say he makes them better. But this is one of those situations where I think even though Portland gets better, they're probably still going to lose the same games. Like, it's weird how I kind of envision the Portland Trailblazers. They're a few players away from being great, and I don't think Arron Gordon is enough to get them over the hump in the West. Dame is amazing. CJ is back and looks good. Covington is now starting to really round into form. He's getting comfortable in Portland. He's playing well. They got some guys on that bench that I think are going to continue to play well. Of course, a guy by the name of Gary Trent Jr., who's broken out. He looks fantastic. He looks like a real potent scorer. Anybody that can get their hands on him is going to love having him. And if he stays in Portland, he's going to continue to ascend because it doesn't seem like his game is predicated on getting a lot of minutes. He could still get his 16, 17 points and drop like 4 or 5 threes, and he doesn't need 30 minutes to do it. So I think he's a lethal player, and I think he could be somebody that you look to possibly ship off in a trade for Arron Gordon. Because if I'm Orlando, I definitely want Gary Trent Jr. So it's a lot that you can do there. Thinking about who else in regards to Portland. They have a lot of players on that team is really capable of making this trade work. Plus, I think they have some picks that they can throw in there to sweeten the deal if they want to go that route. So expect Portland to be players, even if they don't get Arron Gordon. I expect them to do something before this Thursday's deadline. Another place Arron Gordon I think would look really good in, even though I haven't heard anybody mention this team, I think he would really be a difference maker for them, is the Denver Nuggets. Same type of deal, same type of fit. Portland and Denver in that regard are they're comparable in some ways, but I think the difference is you have facilitating genius there to make Arron Gordon's job that much easier. So let's say, and you got already a bunch of weapons already in place in different positions that are going to also make life easy for him. He's going to get a lot of open shots if he were to play for the Denver Nuggets, because you got to account for Jokic, you got to account for Porter, you got to account for Murray, and there are other players on that team as well that are going off that you're going to have to pay attention to. So if you add Gordon to that mix, he makes them extremely deadly. And unlike Portland's situation, he could be the difference for Denver. If he goes to Denver, I think they have a good shot at beating whoever's in front of them at a sheer depth. You know what I mean? Just all that depth, especially if Michael Porter's going to continue to act crazy in a very positive way and just continue to shoot such high percentages and inconsistency, being very consistent. It just makes that team that much better. Because as much as I like Jamal Murray, he's not the most consistent player in the world. He's really, really hot or he's really, really cold. So he's still growing. He's ascending, and it's good to have somebody like Porter there to kind of offset some of the hot and cold stuff that goes with that guy. But Jokic, of course, is an MVP caliber player. He's just like way, way, way beyond at this point. So anybody you put on his team is just going to sweeten the pot. And I'll tell you this. I'm at a space in my mind in regards to Jokic where I don't think it's going to be many more years before he captures a championship. Denver's going to win one. They're going to win one because of him. He just makes everybody better. He's not bashful scoring anymore. He rebounds the ball as good as any big. He's a huge body. He's not afraid to throw it around. So at this point, it's just like, okay, well, all they have to do is get the right players around him. And with the Lakers' injury issues in place, with KD taking a little longer to come back than people expect, the Denver Nuggets have never been in a better position to get better if they were to make a trade like this. So even though I don't hear of them making a trade like this, I haven't heard anything, in other words. And I think that they would have to probably give up some things that they maybe don't want to give up with in order to make a deal like that happen. If they can make that deal happen, I think there would be something that would change the life for them. So that's a good place for Arron Gordon. Another place that's great for Arron Gordon is the Phoenix Suns because they just need a power forward. Any high-level power forward would be a fantastic fit for that team. I think Porzingis is a nice place for him, for Phoenix as well. That would be a nice player for them. So, yeah, just, you talk about Arron Gordon's fit with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, Chris Paul is going to make anybody look good. And the fact that they already have DeAndre Ayton in place, Mikal Bridges has turned into one of the more consistent small forwards in all of basketball. Clearly, you have Devin Booker as a superstar at the shooting guard position. You add Arron Gordon to that team, they basically are 5 deep at their starting position with all-star players everywhere. That's really what it comes down to. You put him there, and you basically have 5 all-stars on the floor for the Phoenix Suns. And I know that sounds crazy, but I do look at Mikal Bridges as close to an all-star at this point. If he were to have a bigger role, let's say he played for a team like somebody in the Eastern Conference, Orlando or something like that, I think he could be close to an all-star. I think he's that potent of a player at this point, and he's heading in that direction. So, yeah, the Phoenix Suns getting a guy like Arron Gordon without depleting all of their assets or getting rid of any of those 4 players, I think makes them extremely, extremely dangerous as well. So, yeah, you're looking at a guy in Arron Gordon that if he were to go to the White Western Conference team, he could change things. I haven't heard of the Lakers going after Arron Gordon or thinking like that. I don't think we can afford him, so that's not in the picture. The Clippers, I haven't heard anything about them going after Arron Gordon. If they were going to go after a player of that caliber, it should probably be a point guard. They should have their eyes focused on Lonzo Ball, in my opinion, even though he is kind of out with an injury right now. So, yeah, that's one place that he would go well. Where else, as far as Arron Gordon is concerned? It's a lot of places I think he would fit because he's such a potent scorer. A lot of teams could use scoring, but don't rule out places where other players are up for trades. Place like Cleveland, I don't know if they would necessarily want to take back Drummond when they already have Vucevic and Bamba in place. That kind of doesn't make any sense to me, but that's along the lines of, I think, the type of suitors that they'll find for a deal. Because there are some teams out there with some talented players that they're looking to unload. Look at the Houston Rockets. Now, I think that would be a funny kind of fit because him and Christian Wood kind of play the same position. And they do the same things. But I do think that if you have those 2 players there with Porter, with the rest of their core, if you can keep the rest of their youngsters on their Rockets team, I think he would be a good addition to kind of set them on the right path for next year, coupled with whatever lottery pick they would undoubtedly get. from this season. So I think that would be an interesting kind of fit, even though I don't imagine a guy like Gordon wants to go anywhere that ain't making the playoffs. He'd do better to stay in Orlando. So I don't think he would be happy with that, but I think the Houston Rockets have the players and the talent to make a deal like that. So that's one team that I would look at. You always want to keep in mind the team that's already made a deal like Milwaukee. Don't rule them out of trying to go after a splash like that. He changed his life for a team like that. You had Arron Gordon to a team with P.J. Tucker, already got Giannis, already got Jrue Holiday. Suddenly the Milwaukee Bucks look like a real threat to come out of the Eastern Conference with the Nets if they're able to do something like that. It can kind of even the score with them dealing with Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid with Philly. So, I know Milwaukee's happy with the move that they've made, but I think it would be wise for them to keep dealing. If they can get a little better from here, that would be the move to make. So that's the story. Arron Gordon can change life for any playoff team. That is the story. That's what I'm here to tell you. Even if he's not the greatest fit, he has such traditional strengths and weaknesses that it would be easy to pick and plug him into anything. I don't know that he's going to be happy playing off the bench. I think he's a little too good for that. But I do see certain scenarios where he would make your bench so much better if you put him on a team like the Nets or something crazy like that, and you got him coming off the bench. They'd never lose a game. Like, that's the type of circumstance that I think would be good for him. The Golden State Warriors are a team I'm looking at for Arron Gordon, especially since they've been hit with injury bugs and things of that nature. They do have a couple guys they may be willing to let go of. Kelly Oubre Jr., I'm pretty sure. Even though they just got him, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind letting go of him if they can get the right player back. They got some youngsters on that team that are playing well. A guy like Jordan Poole is playing excellent right now. But Clay's coming back. Maybe you let go of Jordan Poole. He has some value. Andrew Wiggins, of course, I'm sure they would love to get rid of Andrew Wiggins. Throw him in there. You can get a guy like Arron Gordon. So keep an eye on the Golden State Warriors. I think they can make a deal. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?